and how you came to create Classic Meets Fetish.
I'm Tyrone Rontganger. I was German Mr. Leather 2013 and 2014, and I was Mr. Leather Berlin 2012, and I'm a Man of the Year in Europe 2015 from the X Awards. And I'm also personally interested in classical music, and I'm also interested in fetish, and I think that the two things do not exclude each other. Leather or fetish does not anything else. You can be a leather man and be something else. You can wear rubber and have other interests. And I'd like to show the community or introduce us more into the community and integrate more people perhaps by doing this. Certain events, especially in Europe, where all of these events are just sex oriented, there's just sex-based things. But you meet so many guys who may be handicapped for some reason. Maybe they're in a wheelchair or with a walking stick, or maybe there's a monogamous relationship or shy and they don't want to go to the sex parties and dance all night long in the clubs and hang around in bars till 5 o'clock in the morning in the hope of meeting somebody.
How did you find your musicians?
Oh, that was actually very difficult. At the very beginning, my original idea was I wanted to play myself. So I wanted to play 3 or 4 pieces on the piano. I'm actually a very passionate hobby pianist. And then I kind of realised at the beginning, Taro, you can't entertain people with 3 pieces of music. You need to do more. And I thought, you can't play for an hour because you'll make mistakes. So I actually got together with 2 acquaintances of mine who were also Mrs. in Germany at the time. And we thought we'd do it together. And then they dropped out because they couldn't come to Berlin. And then I was like, but the was really rolling. So I actually then put the word out and people applied.
How did you find can visitors this year expect for the inaugural event? What can they expect if they come to Folsom Berlin in September? And what do you think they're going to experience? What do you hope they?
Well, first of all, I think that Berlin is always worth a visit. I think Berlin is definitely one of the most interesting cities in the world. If I will say that we have a fantastic history. It's very present in our everyday lives. There's a lot of fantastic history. It's a very interesting history that's very present in our everyday lives. You can see lots of things here that you can't see in other cities in the world. And we also have a freedom which is unique for Berlin. That if you want to go to the supermarket in a pair of chaps and a jockstrap, people don't. It's a very free city in the way that people think. So this is the perfect place to do a fetish classical concert because it's the place where you can do it. People will come because they know they can wear their leather there, no problem. They can show up as they want without any problem. And so the visitors can expect definitely a very unique experience that's happening for the first time, where they can wear their leathers and watch very handsome, actually quite attractive, sexy young men on playing different instruments and creating music, making music that was that on everybody's favourite classical lists. Does that make sense?
That absolutely makes sense. I think it's a fantastic project, and I can't wait to hear more about it in the coming weeks. So tonight I'm joined by Riley Johnson, the Executive Director of Rad Remedy. Thank you for joining me tonight, Riley.
Absolutely, thank you.
So, congratulations, first of all. I understand you and Rad Remedy are beneficiaries of the ILSB weekend.
Absolutely.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Can you tell me a little bit about what Rad Remedy is and how you came about being?
Absolutely. Rad Remedy is a national nonprofit organization dedicated to connecting trans and gender nonconforming, intersex, and queer people to the care that they need nationwide. And what that looks like right now is we do consulting and zines for folks to empower them to take positive steps with their healthcare, as well as our main reason for being, which is the referral aggregator database, or RAD as we call it, which is something like Yelp, but it's for everybody else. And we view it as a way for folks to review the providers that they see, to talk about their experiences there, and then also on our end of things to be able to identify the situations that happen and then work with providers to make them better. our focus has thus far been the trans folks, the gender nonconforming folks, intersex and queer people, but we also are looking at sort of the intersectionality of that. So that means sex worker folks. We want to make sure that we can identify folks who do that well, folks who are undocumented, elders, youth, and of course my fellow kink people, to be able to identify leathermen and folks who are good with the leather, kink, and fetish communities as well.
If someone wants to help support RAD, what are the ways they can do that, financially or physically? How can they help you?
Well, we've got a couple of different ways to do that, ranging from time and money, and also even just getting the word out. We're looking for folks who are interested in doing data entry, who might have front or back end databasing skills. We're looking for folks to just help us get the word out and review providers that you see. So if that's one key component is that community engagement. So if folks can get the word out and then also review the providers that they see, that's helpful to us as well. If folks are looking to contribute financially, that's wonderful as well. And that can happen at the same website, which is radremedy.org. And we also are a tax-deductible organization. So if you want to have that component, that's definitely there. We are fiscally sponsored, so that means that our fiscal sponsor will work with us to make that happen for you. And we also have shirts available for sale. So if folks are interested, I don't know if you can see, but there's a fancy rad shirt that you yourself can have from radremedy.org.
So, Daisy has 164 points, 0.4. Out of 200 possible. What's the percentage on that? Okay. And Ginger have 166.4.
The Equus International Pony and Trainer Contest was held last weekend in Los Angeles, California at Sanctuary Studios, LAX. Produced by Sub Miss Anne, aka Beauty, the weekend-long event included classes, a formal dinner and playdate event, and in addition to the International Pony and Trainer Contest, the weekend included a human pony show for the community at large, complete with dressage, obstacle course, blindfold obstacle course, and reining events, as well as pony performances Saturday night. The International Pony and Trainer Contest had two tough teams, which included one pony and trainer team, Dame Noble and Ebony Midnight, back for their sophomore showing, and a freshman competitor, Daisy Doll, an Appaloosa circus pony out of Portland, Oregon. After an intense day of interviews, presentations, and performances, Dame Noble and her pony, Ebony Midnight, won by a 2-point margin at over what I believe was almost a 90% score. My math is pretty bad. Over the infectious Daisy Doll. Best in Show went to Pony Caddy and her handler, Doug, whose enthusiasm for pony play was evident each and every time she was able to shake her tail. Congratulations to Anne on a well-planned and hard-worked success. Your volunteers are to be lauded. The Equus. For my viewers who don't know you, this is Penelope Jones, the new Women in Leather Legacy title holder. She holds the title of Will 2015. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. This is super exciting. I'm I should say nervous because I'm just me and this is awesome. So surreal. And
Oh,
wow.
don't be nervous. You're gonna do fine. I know. I understand you already have a couple interviews lined up.
I do. That is true. It's very exciting. Some pretty awesome people that I've known for a long time. So it'll be nice to actually get down and hear from the beginning to end, their story.
Fantastic. Why don't you tell me really quick about your title and what it stands for, and then tell me why you chose to run for it.
Okay. So Will itself is, in my opinion, a title, but it's a historian position. And it really is collecting women's history in leather and people who have done significant things. And it doesn't have to be a title, just people who have been in their roots in and doing something that has contributed to us becoming who we are today. So I am very excited to do that for women who I feel have contributed either to my life or my community or the community that I've been blessed to be a part of over the years. Awesome. And the reason why I ran was because I'm just going to get to the short part of it. Sir Bill from Wichita, who was the owner of Paddle Your Drawers, approached me 2 years in a row about it. And I had just started a new job in 2014. And so that was not my year. And even though I believed in this title from the very first year that it was created, I loved the idea of it. It just wasn't my time until this year, honestly, to be able to have an opportunity to run and to have this amazing plate of awesomeness.
That makes a really, really good point. Race Bannon, you know who Race is, right?
Yes.
Okay. He had a post.
He probably doesn't know who I am, but he is.
Be really surprised. But he's a pretty groovy guy. He posted on his Facebook today something that possibly will resonate with you, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on it.
Okay.
If you could give one piece of advice to someone who is new coming into the lifestyle, what would it be?
Have as many 20 to 30 minute back porch conversations as possible. Because honestly, that's how you get to know people and learn how to develop the world, to me. So that's what I would advise them to do, because I think that's what we all do. I just gave it a name.
Fair enough. Who inspires you as a leather?
I would say there are probably 3 major women in my life who inspire me. And no 4, sorry, because she'll feel left out if I don't say her name. And I love her. First, I'm going to say Boot Pig, because that's really when I began to blossom as a leather woman in 2006 when I met her. So I contribute a lot to her. Karen Ultradon. She's a part of my leather family. She's an amazing woman. And she has taught me a lot of things, but one of them is to stand my ground and believe in myself and have integrity and morals and stand by those. And Michelle Sigler, who before she even knew a lot about leather was on the LLC board, and she dug her roots in immediately. And so I admire her for that. And Christy. She's an amazing woman who's also part of my leather family, who inspires me because she herself is very much a Pollyanna. And she plays a flag game about everything. And sometimes you just need a Pollyanna in your life. So those are my 4 ladies, and I love them dearly.
And what was your first leather experience? Tell us about it.
The very first one I ever had was where I even knew what leather was. The OKC group came to my BDSM group at the time, and they invited us to be part of their Pride Parade float. And holy cow, I was like, I get to parade. But I had no idea what that meant. And that was in, I would say, 2000, 2001, when I first found my. And that year, I dug my little feet in and I went to everything because these people were my type of people. And that's my first experience, was on the leather float.
What exactly are your type of people?
I think people who have ethics, integrity, and stand by those. Sadists. I'm surrounded by them. And people who are really them. Like, I think you get that gut feeling when someone is so nervous to be themselves. They have to tell you all kinds of things about themselves to make themselves, not themselves feel better, but make you like them more. And so I truly, those people, I bless their little hearts and I end up loving lots of them. But those people in the beginning who are themselves are the people who I usually fall in love with immediately. So that's my type of people.
Fair enough.
You're my type of people. Because you are just you.
Out of all of the amazing leather women we have in our community, and let's face it, we have some incredible women, who would you most like to interview this year? If you could have your dream interview. No pressure.
I know, right? Because I don't actually want to say somebody's said yes. Because I know I'm getting that. Is that terrible?
No, if it's your dream, if it's the person you want to interview and they've already said yes, then that's fine.
I would really like to sit down with Linda Ryer. I would really like to. I have known her from afar, I should say. I've seen her at events. I've attended classes. But, you only hear what you hear. And that woman has made amazing feats. And I would like to hear about those. So that's who I would pick.
I think that's a really, really good. I'm really curious to see what comes of that.
I wonder if she'd actually agree. That would be like super duper cool.
I bet you she would. Glenda, if you're listening, Penelope, call her.
Or Facebook her.
Or Facebook her. She's on my friends list. She's good people. Is there anything you would like us to know? If somebody sees you and maybe they're intimidated to come up to see you at an event, is there something you would like to say to those people?
I'm a hugger. I am so super duper kind and sweet and nice, and it's genuinely who I am. And so if you were people that if you're alone, I will be the person who says hello to you.
Aww. Whether
I know you or not, and it doesn't matter who you are, boy, girl, otherwise, I'm just that person. I feel terrible if somebody didn't say hi to me. So I just choose to treat people how I want to be treated. So I would hope that they would realize I'm a hugger. So come and hug me, or at least say hi, and then I'll want to hug you. And yeah.
And I'm getting feedback. You competed last weekend. You competed last weekend, or the weekend before. I guess it's the weekend before.
Oh yeah, gosh dang. 51 more weeks.
51 weeks. So, what is one thing you took away from last weekend that you're surprised about going through as a contestant, going through the contestant process? What is one thing that surprises you about contestant process now that you've gone through it?
Wow, it's super duper difficult. I did not realize how hard it would be to get dressed, be present, talk to people, do interviews, be awesome on stage doing an auction. Oh my goodness, that was the most terrifying part of it all. And I know I'm up there by myself with a microphone for 6 minutes, and the most terrifying part was the auction.
No, asking people for money is never easy.
Right. And I'm like, and then I'm nervous. Am I going to say it wrong? This, and I'm like, ah! Anyway, so yeah, that was my scariest part. But it's very difficult, and it takes a lot. And the women who stood next to me this weekend, amazing for the things that they did. And I know that they will continue to do amazing things because they already were. So I'm very thankful for them. And I really like the friendships that we've made together. That I hope that we, continue to be friends. I know that we already have some plans for me in New York, so I hope that I get to see Karita while I'm there, which would be super awesome. So yeah, it's very exciting, and I'll be tons of times, and I know Deb is at all those things. So it's very exciting to see both those women again. So the friendships that I made over that weekend are surprising.
Awesome.
It's nice.
In 30 seconds or less, tell Penelope at Will 2016 something you want her to remember about the experience. Give yourself a thank you note. What do you want to say?
Thank you for actually doing all of those interviews with those women and making sure that women had the chance to tell their stories. And I would say thank you for doing it in your voice, because everybody's writing voice is different and everybody's questions are different. And I would say thank you for continuing to stick to who you were and not getting a big head, because I hope that doesn't happen, because I would never want it. So.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for being with me, and thank you for joining me on my journey, because I'm just getting started, and I'm excited about where this show's going to go. And I thank you for being one of the first international title holders on the show. And
holy crud!
You are?
That's exciting. I made lots of firsts, so wow.
You are. So thank you so much for joining me and taking time out of what I know is a crazy hectic schedule, and I can't wait to see what comes out of your camp.
Wow, I am totally flattered that Penelope picked me when you asked her who she wanted to interview, and I would be more than happy to do an interview with her. I got some great stories I'd love to tell her.
And now we welcome Pup Sprocket to announce the name of the winning contestant of the Toronto Puppy 2016 contest.
Your Toronto Puppy 26 winner, Pup Bang.
Excellent. All right. So next, here to present the winner of Ms. Leather Toronto 2016 is Luca, Ms. Leather Toronto 2015. Thank you, everyone. So,
again with the envelopes. At least it's not a bill for it. So, I am pleased to announce that the winner of the Ms. Leather Toronto 2016 contest is Sharon.
And now here to present the first runner-up and the winner of the Mr. Leatherman Toronto 2016 title contest is Brett Murden and Mr. Leatherman Toronto 2015.
Mr. Leatherman, Toronto 2016. First runner-up is Jeremy Feist. And now, we need a drum roll, please. The man who I will now refer to from this point on as my son is Brendan Lee.
Also last week was Toronto Leather Pride, presented by Heart of the Flag Federation. Toronto Leather Pride is a week-long series of events that began on Saturday, August 2nd with Surge at O'Grady's on Church, hosted by Luca, Miss Leather Toronto 2015. That ninth was a full Saturday schedule. During the day, Toronto Leather Pride presented the 2015 Educational Series, which is a set of informative workshops featuring various community presenters. At 7 p.m., the Phoenix Concert Theater was packed to the brim for the Mr. Leatherman Toronto, Ms. Leather Toronto, and Toronto Puppy 2016 contest. Once again, sign language interpretation services were generously provided by the Sharon St. Cyr Fund. The week-long celebration concluded with a victory brunch, leather pride march, and after-party at the Toronto Black Eagle. All proceeds from the week's events benefit the Rainbow Railroad.
The Pantheon Leather Awards will celebrate its 25th anniversary in October. The awards were founded because there was no national system honoring individuals, clubs, businesses, and organizations in the leather community in the early 1990s. There were local and regional awards programs sponsored by the motorcycle clubs, particularly in California. The first Pantheon Leather Awards presentation was held in California in 1991. Prior to then, the Leather Journal named a Man of the Year and a Woman of the Year and a couple other honors through the magazine. There was no Crystal Award presentation. The honor was just in being named in the Leather Journal, and the decision who would be honored was arbitrarily mine. Now, there are 3 award selection categories in the Pantheon of Leather Award system. Most of the awards are decided by public nomination and voted upon by a selected panel of the previous year's recipients. Community Choice, which are decided solely with popular write-in vote, and the President's Awards, which are decided upon by me. This 3-tier system creates a checks and balance in award selection and accountability. Over the years, over 550 awards have been presented at Pantheon of Leather. I hope you will join us on Friday night, October 16th in Atlanta, Georgia. Even if you are not nominated but have friends who were, cheer on those who are being awarded. Those will certainly appreciate that. A Crystal Iceberg designed award is nice for the trophy case, but having a large crowd cheering you on when your name is announced as a recipient lasts forever in one's mind. If you are being honored, make sure to be there to receive your coveted Pantheon Leather Award. We'll see you in Atlanta.